Okay, hello builders, welcome to another how-to guide. As you can see, I'm in Colosso Alchemy Grotto. A couple of videos ago I said I wanted to do something with structures, and real life and other projects got in the way. It's probably been a couple of months. I don't get videos out fast, I have too much going on, but when I can. So what I wanted to do was a city build. Now, because it's spread out, I hit the 700 cap limit before I could get a lot of stuff done. But what there is, I've done kind of little bits of lots of things spread over rather than focusing on one super detailed small area. Just to give you guys ideas of what you can do, take the parts you like and incorporate them into your own home builds. So let's see, just give you a quick overview and then we'll do the, no, let's zoom out first. Then we'll do the actual tour. And as usual, as we go around, I might pull a few bits apart just to try and show you how they connect, what I think looks good, what doesn't, and what's dog crap. So I wanted a bridge for the two sides. If you put a bridge down flat, people are going to be going, well, how's your boat get out? So I deliberately built a drawbridge, and I've had it slightly open so that people can see the principle that, you know, it opens, it goes up, and you can still jump from one side to the other. It's not quite straight, there's a bigger gap at the closer end, but ask me if I care. Let's see what else. I had to do a really tall house in the middle because there's a ruin of a boat, and just under the cursor you can still see part of the one of the spars from the mast. Don't know why they didn't make it movable. It's horrible, but yeah, I guess they didn't expect people to be doing quite as much. And down there is my city and my port. So because of the item limit, there's nothing in the boat. Well, there's like 40 items I couldn't be bothered to pick up, so I could have had 40 more slots. Probably would have been a few more decorations here. Also, I don't have any of the Lux merchant or luxury vendor fishing stuff. That would have been perfect for here. So you come down. This circle building is like a giant ass column. It was originally here. The stairs up, 5 pillars up there, and the background areas. Everything else I've pretty much added. So when you first start into the city, you've got my alchemy store. Should have been more flowers here. Oh, also, if you want to make a garden area, put a hedge down flat if you've got one. Underneath the hedge, or if you're just going to do it with plants, is have a grey or a green or a pale brown large carpet. Put that down first, and then you don't get the sand coming through. And then you can just start putting plants on top of it, and you've got enough to hide that. Unfortunately, I'm doing this while one of my guilds is doing a auction, so there's going to be a lot of chatter in the bottom right box. I'm sorry about that. So this is a luxury vendor item. It's 100,000. I would have bought several if I'd had the money. It's gorgeous. So apart from a greenhouse, you could build your own house and have this as a room. Just connect an open doorway. If you've got a fairly thin room that's not too tall, you just sink this, come on, into the wall, and like a flat wall, and then pull it back out a certain distance, and you've got an instant fish tank without having to use lots of small glass display cases. I mean, that would be awesome as a fish tank. Should have been, you know, along with decoration, a table with potions, bottles, poison maker's cabinet, Bunsen burners, flames, you know, just the usual bottles, even some flowers as if they've been cut, mortar and pestle. Anything you've got is to fill in your decorating slots. Next up is just the doorway into that building. I always found it weird that there was no doorway into there. It's like, what, is there supposed to be an underground entrance, or is it just teleport only? The developers really should have had some kind of closed or ruined doorway. That just makes no sense when they built this area. So I've just given it a doorway. Doorway itself, there's four kinds of door that I've built in this area. First is the basic metal plate. Just shove a cup in for a door handle. It's metallic, so it reflects light, which is nice. And if it's in a wall that's a different colour, then it shows up really well. I'll show you the second doorway as we come around to it. Oh, the provisioning station doesn't have very good flames. It looks kind of crap. So just shove that on top. And I actually got it to work the other day. There you go. You can actually do it so that it's usable and it's got a good flame effect. I guess the reason I can still target that is because the flames count as part of the hitbox, but they don't interfere with the actual cooking. So I'm happy with that, and it looks better than normal. Okay, but back to the build. Follow the curves. Since there's already pre-marked pathways, you want to give it some volume rather than having it all open. Just do hedges or bushes or stuff that people have to walk around. One reason is it looks a bit more greener and nicer. And the second area, oh, again, I always say about giving it height, and that's also incorporated into this same point, is if you do a large build and it's open and you can see too far, it tends to look just too fake with the houses. There you go. Absolute pants. That just looks ridiculous. It doesn't look like, it just looks like there's some pillars. But you put the hedges in, it blocks up some of the view, makes the place look more organic and lived in, and like people would actually want to be in that area. So following the build around, now this area from here to here, this is where I've actually done the proper building and decorating. It's still slightly lacking because of the item count, but it's enough to give you the ideas. So luxury vendor, 2 of these metal plates for the wide archways. You can use the brass plates. Again, should have 2 door handles. Should be slightly set in. There you go. Meh, who cares? Okay, it's good enough. But yeah, 2 cups for door handles. If you've got a single plate ever, you can always put, there's a turn wheel you can get, pipe valve disconnected on the store. Maybe you can make it, and it looks like a basically a almost like an airlock hatch. But that's my enchanting store. Next up, you've got the chapel. This was a nightmare to build because you're trying to get all the walls to line in to show the pillars on the inside. It was just so difficult. It was ridiculous. Like, that doesn't look great. Let me just pull that back. I thought I fixed that before, but I guess I hadn't. That'll do, screw it. So with the chapel, I've said this in the Valentine's build, any long thin space, or long thin room, or long thin open air area will all work for the build. And then on the outside should have been a lot more of these Eleanor mausoleums and tombs. Reason there's not, apart from apparently their magic and bloody float. Heinous. Is ended up using them on the roofs, and you'll see that in a second. So there should have been more trees, some shrubs to give it more of a older feel, as if this is a well-established graveyard. Some trees behind to block out the view, but that's down to the item counts. And how did I do this? So just basically a bunch of the elsewhere floors, and then the Eleanor ballrooms up there. What I'll point out is, like I said, getting them to match or line up was horrible. This doorway was evil, and trying to fill in the gaps above the arches, and also trying to get it all to line up with the pillars on the outside, and then this pillar is separate on this side of the wall. And then while I'm trying to get all this to line up, I've then got to line up this stuff here. So let's put those back. Now, this is the view I want to show you. If you're going for a city build, this is kind of the effect that you want. If I hadn't built upwards, I could have done, like, not the walls, not these pillars and trees, and not the houses up there. But there's a couple of tricks you need to know. First off, the elsewhere floors make amazing walls. The Eleanor, not so much. If you have a big white wall, it just looks bad. It works well on the inside of houses. So you need to have, keep the wall short if you can. Have stuff in front of it, like some vines, ivy on the roofs. Let's give it some, this is one of the tricks. If you have stuff in the foreground, it's going to pull people's eyes away from the background, and it's normally the background that's going to mess you up. So, like if I take out these hedges and the tree, you can see it's very stone, it's very barren, it doesn't look particularly inviting as an area. Oh, and also while I'm here, the mausoleums. Just a slight detour with the conversation. With the roofs, looks a bit too perfect and neat. Looks a little bit too plain. Hello, cat. But if you just drop in a mausoleum and 2 mirrors, it kind of looks more like you've got a solid build. This would have looked better with the plain, long Eleanor fence as a wall, but a lot of this is working with what I have available. And then if I just put the hedges back in also. Having the trees at the front, because without the tree, you can see that there's too many different kinds of stone. It's too many angles. So again, the foreground hides the background. And I use the curtains just to fill in the gap. They don't really line up, but again, looks okay. So, you've got my bank pretending that it's Gringotts. And that's to cover up. I mean, I could have done, if I'd done that hollow on the inside, I could have done a damn cathedral. But yeah, that boat is just heinous. And you probably notice there's a little crystal up there. That just gives it a bit of light so you can see the details. I've also done the same twice here, and once there and once on the higher level. Literally, as soon as you put a light bulb in any area, it makes it look like there's stuff going on and there's things up there. There's not. There's just the 2 trees for the foreground and the Vala stone. I didn't realize how bright they were. What we're talking about, distractions for the foreground. Got my hedge, and my trees, and my ivy, and then these Breton stalls. I've also done the same thing with these. This one I've sunk into the wall because the background's good. This one I pulled out from the wall because it's the Eleanor behind it, and that's what doesn't look too good. Point being that a big white blank wall like that doesn't look so great, even though the smaller monuments look pretty good with the stone houses. The Elsewhere blocks you can get from one of the new North Elsewhere dungeons if you're super lucky. I'm not. I don't have that recipe, so mine are crown stored and guild stored. But one of those Elsewhere wooden... Oh, it's not. Okay. That's an Eleanor stone staircase, wide. And then... Where's it gone? Come on. Oh, you can't see it, but... Like left behind there, you've got an Elsewhere floor piece at a 45-degree angle. Just one of these. And these are great for roofs. They're massive. This roof is the same. Just 2 Elsewhere wooden floors. Drop them in. Now, because this one's the inn, I put in the awning, just because it's supposed to be a bit more inviting. It's a hotel slash bar. It just also gives a bit of protection to the doorway. And same as before, that's a luxury vendor dwarven item. Same as those 2. So that's still only 2 kinds of door. Let's see, the roofs. Oh, the Elsewhere red brick. It just looks really nice as a wall. The reason I built this into the hillside, again, just more wood, And then 2 small monuments that I can make, so people you know will do it. With the mirrors, if you angle the top towards you once and turn it back, and then lift it slightly, you can hide the feet if you want to. Just make it look a bit more real. And the reason this is built in is there's not actually a lot of space here. But if you just want to fool people into thinking that your city's a lot deeper than it is. I mean, that looks like there's an actual building going back. And it's not. It's just, what is it, 4 feet? I think. That's slightly deeper. And then this one. Yep. Let's see, what else? Oh, again with the foreground trick. Here's my house and the doorway with its light and the windows. Doesn't look too bad, you know, it's alright. Take the tree away and again, instant dog shit. I mean, there's no windows here, there's no doors. This ivy is wrong there, it sticks out into nothingness. For the ivy to be visible, it has to be away from the wall, so it looks like it's floating. But you just put... Let's zoom out. Okay, so... Oh, come on, evil. Right. Just one stupid little pink tree, and suddenly this area just becomes a lot more valid. 2 or 3 mirrors into the wall here would have been nice, but I run out, and I owe my friend Miss Elsie, she made me 20 mirrors just to help me out with this. So big thank you, Miss Elsie, I really appreciated that. Okay, so again, just to get some depth and light, I just put 2 crystals up here. And up here there's nothing, but from down there it looks like there's more going on. Now with this area, I never know what to do with this build. And aside from the fact that there's no door to get into this round thing, once you're up here there's no way to get into it either. So I would have put a door here as if it's all part of this building. But I'm out of items. I don't think I've got anything I can place. Nope. One of the things about this build that was so hard is because trying to move so many different kinds of items means I'm constantly bouncing between houses, dropping stuff off so that I can pick up the next load. Right. So let's see, the fence house. Coming back around. Yep. Those really work well. The smaller monuments that are craftable for the roof as well, they just... And if I just get rid of those and the 2 mirrors. Now, Eleanor kitchen chimney, Eleanor fireplace has a built-in chimney, so I could have had some of those sticking out. But I just like these. I mean, I like attic rooms anyway. So moving on. And again, having stuff in the foreground all the way around here does distract from anything else, especially with trees on higher levels. Let's see what else. Oh, optical illusions. That building up there isn't much of a building. It's okay, 2 ballroom floors, 1 edging wall piece, and then when you come to this zone, that pillar, if I take out my one, nope, and that one are broken, so I just put other ones over the top, and then this building doesn't exist, and that is just another roof or floor piece behind. So rather than just have nothingness here, just to make it look like there's something going on. Building crown store. If you buy the decorated moon sugar meadow, you'll get some of these pieces, and they're kind of like the clockwork stuff. You can just mix and match them. I do kind of like this as a front door. I mean, that would be my next option. Then that hides the broken piece. Because you can fit an actual doorway in there, and it looks pretty good. But then up there looks a little bit plain. But yeah, for certainly for blocking off views, if you're doing a small enclosed area, the Merkmire pieces are good for that. Okay, next up is the small clothier's house. Very modest living. Any those brass scavenge plates, put one down at 40, well, a small angle. Kind of that angle, and then you jump on it and first person view. So I did this up there. Turn this so it's at the right angle, left click with the stick so it places, and then you just move and do the next one and the next one and the next one, and that's how you get the thatched roof. Well, once you're done with that, you then go underneath and you take out the plate that you built it on to save a lot, and don't overlap them too much as well. I mean, there is gaps, but people can't tell. And that's how you build the thatched roof. If you have it, if that was the angle was almost straight or 45 degrees, you'd have used a lot more of these straws. And everyone's got a million of these that they hate and they're in the way, and we got them from Halloween rewards. So there you go, something to actually do with them. Windows, more halalu mirrors, and then a window box. If you don't have the window boxes, or you want a cheap option, Allen or General Merchant for furniture gives you a windowsill, and then it just hides the bottom of the mirror, the stand, if you do it properly. There you go. Nope. There you go. Kind of stepping over my own point there otherwise. If you want to do a Allen building, a big one, and have that monument on the roof, so it's slightly more in scale, then it's the long fence. Drop. Okay, they're not going to go on flat just to annoy me. Just literally just stack them up so that There you go. Obviously a bit neater. Shove your mirrors in, shove in your doors, put on your ivy, put the roof on, and you've got a good large house for the exterior. I've done mine upside down because it's hard with this kind, with the roof, to not have the metal clipping out, the curved railing. This is my stables. If I'd had more slots, I would have used the red guard wooden trellis here for the horses. Otherwise, get rid of the stupid door and have the indoor area for horses. Oh, okay, door number 3 and 4. First of all, the elsewhere table. And lastly, the clockwork arches or squares or anything clockwork, because you get these flat planes on the back. Doesn't look very real. But then you get one of these poles from the Clockwork City furniture merchant, and you just put it into the middle, and then 2 of any kind of cup as handles, and you've got a set of double doors. Really easy, doesn't look horrible, does look better with the narrower archway. But I wasn't going to spend all my calanders. I've got like 4 left, I think. Oh, it's not quite right. So they look lovely. Well, I think they look lovely like that. There's a doorway. And then that would be... Oh, you mother. Okay, so and I'm not going to be building many for a moment. If you pull this arch out more, so the door looks a bit more recessed.
I'm glad that's over with.
Okay, good. Thank you. Just tends to look a little bit better. Oh, and also have that lined up so it doesn't clip in. Trying to think, what else? So I've shown you how to do the roofs, shown you how the houses are fake. Same here, you've got the building, you've got a garden wall, then you've got the house behind it. There's only about 1 foot between them. This wasn't perfect. Ideally this roof should be the same height as that one. And that would have been further back. Just to make it look a bit more recessed. Actually, that does kind of look a little bit better. But I'm not going to redo the whole damn house now. Again, with the stuff at the front, the plants. Moving on. Oh, my docks. The original docks are kind of in the way. When you're running, you hit them and you stop because there's a step, which is partly why I chose to do the flower part here, because this part is where you don't get stuck too badly. He says getting stuck. Just shove a little mini rock just to half the gap height if you need to. And these are easy. Just they're from the Eleanor Furniture Merchant. So is this hedge. Just drop that down and then put a few plants and trees on top. And I didn't go nuts with the plants here, I couldn't, I just didn't have the space. see if I lifted those up and have the leaves. Okay, so instantly it looks a bit more full. So you can play, you need different kinds of, always put the tall plants in first. I said this on the Valentine's build, like a bunch of them. Fill up towards the edges with the smaller plants and the grass roots. I didn't do that here because of the slot count, but if you go to my Valentine's build, you'll see extensive flower areas where I've done that. What else is there? Oh, this would have been a waste shrine. Didn't have enough items. And then the docks. The greenish brown was the original, but these ones you can buy in one of the zones for 250 gold each. So I just extended it out and did the shallows. The boats are crown store only. There's another one that comes in the Merkmar Furnishings pack, which I never got. These look a little bit small. They looked bigger on the crown store. It's a bit of a disappointment, but never mind. That's pretty much about it, I think. This area is less detailed because I was running out of stuff, so I tried to concentrate in one area. And I really like that view. I think if I put a wall across here, or built the church, instead of going backwards, if I built the church coming along here, this is just the area, it would have been, I would have been able to decorate it all properly. Moving on, because I tend to talk far too much, I'm just praying that some of this is useful for you guys. If you build in water, and you have a jump especially, people are going to fall in, so make sure you include stairs. It's not a lot to ask for, it's 2 items instead of 1 to put a wall across. Left a gap there, but again, could have had more walls with more items if I was allowed to. Other than that, there's more boat behind here. Oh, the blacksmiths. Again, the red elsewhere floor, Eleanor on the side. With the roof is Eleanor, it's hard because it's not perfect edges, so you can't really line it up. So I don't think Eleanor works well as roofs. Walls, like I said, it works okay if it's a small area. That was red brick, but I had to pull it out to show you something else. And if you don't want brick, and the elsewhere floors are hard to find, the recipe, and expensive, this one isn't expensive, and it's just the elsewhere, what the hell is it? Elsewhere platform stepped, but you just flip it up on its side. And it gives also a nice natural feel, like it's more like a adobe or daub, as opposed to fired brick. And it actually blends in. I'm pretty sure you guys wouldn't have seen that if I hadn't pointed out it was different. Again, 3 mirrors, window box, a lamp. Last up, oh, if you've got the achievement furnishing for collecting all of the sky shards, it would be very easy to put something round and flat with a couple of pillars instead of this roof and do a lighthouse, or have a smaller lighthouse build here or there under the cursor. So moving on to the very last area. If you don't want to build an entire city, it was a lot. I spent a lot on mats as usual. Then you might want to just do 1 or 2 houses with a small walled-in courtyard or something. And that's where you do this. Really easy. It's just 4 mirrors. For a house you'd use a better door. I would definitely use an elsewhere table here. Again, Eleanor's side, because a small triangle area looks okay. And then the roof. And that's it. That's all you need to do with basic house. Just some ivy on the side, maybe windowsills, maybe a plant pot on one of the windowsills. And then, oh, and then I was trying to think of a reason to come over here. In real life you wouldn't bother unless there was a mine. I use coral, but normal rocks work better. It's just because of the area I kind of had to use coral. The mine carts are store only. And then the railway track, which actually came out pretty well, is just the Merkmar ramp. You'll have to excuse me, I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment, so I keep clearing my throat. Let's see. From there it looks dog shit. Ideally, I would have had this track curving. Have the bend hidden behind the cart so they can't see it's not quite perfect. As with a lot of things, hide your mistakes. There you go. So now it looks like it bends around the corner instead of going into a wall. And you can just put this brick wall here, just put more of an angle. And then get stuck in your cart. Okay, so anyway, from here, and you see what I mean, if you bent it even more, or if I'd had this pillar like there, or if I'd moved the wall in, there's all kinds of crap you can do just to hide stuff. But it's quite easy. If you go to my video called ESO Homes Marketplace, I've actually had the mine there set up properly next to a forge, and the tunnel and the cave is built much better. That'll give you a better idea of what you can do. So that's it. I hope that's given you some ideas. I hope I haven't talked too long. It's probably been 30 minutes because my videos always are. It sucks. And that's it. I hope it's given you some ideas, and have a great time playing with your houses. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye bye.